Okay, good morning class. We will discuss yung capacity of piles based on pile load testing. Okay, so if you remember yung discussion natin in determination of pile capacity, okay, we have two ways to determine the pile capacity. Number one is yung prediction. Okay, ito yung based on site investigation and laboratory testing. So ito yung theoretical part. Okay, so na-determine nyo yung last meeting lang, nag-discuss tayo ng calculation for solving for the capacity of piles. So may two assumption tayo, piles in sand and piles in clay. Diba? And the total capacity is simply the sum of the end-bearing capacity and the frictional resistance. Okay. And for clay, meron tayong iba't ibang way ng pagsasolve ng frictional resistance. Okay, so that is the theoretical part. Okay, so yung formula na yon are based on laboratory testing and investigation or site investigation. Okay, number two, and ito yung pinaka ginagamit even pagdating sa site. Okay, pagdating nyo sa construction or pagdating nyo sa structural engineering or geotechnical engineering. Okay. So ito yung by load testing method or yung actual testing. Okay. So yung una, yung static pile load test, and yung pangalawa is yung dynamic pile load test. So you can watch yung static pile load test using this link and yung dynamic pile load testing using this link. Okay. So napakahalaga ng determination ng pile capacity based on load test method. Okay? So ito yung pinakakailangan talaga. So bakit? Kasi hindi perfectly talaga na determine yung properties ng soil, di ba? Medyo mahirap siya i-determine yung perfectly properties ng soil. And also yung method of construction. So hindi rin siya ganun perfect. Okay? So that is why it is important talaga magkaroon ng verification based on actual testing sa determination sa pile capacity of driven piles or maybe for displacement pile or non-displacement piles. Okay? And also, syempre, kapag nag-design kayo ng structure, let's say ganito yung yung capacity, pero nung nag load test method, okay, bumaba pa pala yung capacity. So yung prediction nyo, based on prediction, ito yung capacity nyo. So ito yung galing sa geotechnical engineer, ito yung value. Pero nung nag-actual load testing, mas mababa pa pala. So the problem is you need to redesign your structure, yung global structure mo para ma-compensate yung error yung determination ng pile capacity. Okay? So imagine nandun na kayo sa producing your plans. Okay? Nag-create na kayo ng drawings. Okay? And nalaman nyo na magkakaroon pa ng revision sa mga pile foundations. Okay? So ang problem diyan, baka hindi lang yung buong pile na yon, yung pile group na yon yung magkaka-problema. Okay, baka yung iba pa, yung ibang pile group pa. Okay, baka maapektuhan yung ibang pile group. Okay. So wala naman tayong choice since we are facing the problem talaga na ganun yung nangyayari. Okay, so ayun. So this is yung verification method. So in this topic, in this method, okay, in this discussion, malalaman niyo how to solve for the capacity sa mga pile load testing. Okay. So dynamic load test, it is the ultimate strength of each pile must fulfill the structural and geotechnical limits for a safe foundation to perform as required. Okay. A pile load test is a direct method of determining the ultimate geotechnical capacity of the pile. So dynamic load testing with the aid of pile dynamic analyzer, ito yung PDA. Okay? So ito yung PDA, yan, yung pile dynamic analyzer. So it is a fast and reliable way to evaluate the bearing capacity of the pile. So this testing can help you pick up the right pile type that can withstand the strains of the pile during driving and give cautions if the pile driving reaches its required length, thus avoiding unnecessary long piles. So it also provides information about structural integrity, driving stresses, and the hammer efficiency. Okay. And if a dynamic load test is out of the equation, then a static load test can be performed. Okay. For the static load test, ito yung setup naman for static load test. Okay. So for static load test, ito yung setup. Meron siyang secondary beam. Maglalagay kayo ng concrete blocks. Okay. So you can watch yung sa video. So meron yung example doon. Ito yung style nito eh. So meron siyang ganito. Okay. So maglalagay sila ng layers of concrete blocks na ilalagay dun sa secondary beam. Okay, so parang naalala niyo parang sa UTM, okay, Universal Testing Machine. Ito yung force, okay? Meron siyang reaction dito eh. Reaction dito. Ayan yung reaction dito. Pati rin dito. Okay, so yung reaction dito, yun yung magkakaroon ng actually loaded dito sa piles natin. And dadagdagan to every time yan. Yung layers of concrete blocks. Okay? So ganyan yung setup dun sa mga static pile load test. Okay. So for static load test, a static load test can be done to evaluate the bearing capacity of the pile. So in the static load test, the test load will be applied by hydraulic jack against a concrete block or the Kent-Lodge. Okay. So with the load being measured by calibrated and certified pressure gauges on the selected pile. Okay. So yung pile settlement will be recorded by means of dial gauges and registering against a reference beam. Okay. So optical level may be used to confirm the readings. So the pile will be tested by increment loading according to the required standard with the record kept of time. Okay, load and settlement. So para ma-record mo yung para mag-graph mo yung okay, mag-graph mo yung testing. Okay. So interpretation of the pile load test will be submitted to assess the pile capacity. So the criteria for defining the load of the piles will be, and but not limited to, the following. Okay, number one, yung the load at which settlement continues to increase without any further increase of load. Okay, so malalaman mo kung ito na yung capacity ng pile given do sa graph kapag yung load, okay, at a certain settlement, okay, continuously increasing. Okay, yung settlement mo continuous nag-i-increase pero hindi na umaangat yung load. Okay, hindi na umaangat yung load. So ibig sabihin na peak na-attain niya na yung peak load. Okay? So kahit mag-settle ka ng lagyan yung load natin, yung settlement niya pababa na pababa pero yung load niya is hindi na nag-i-increase. Okay? Yung isa is load beyond which there is an increase in net settlement, okay, disproportionate to the increase in the load. Okay? So meron tayong mga, for example, yung load niya hindi siya yung settlement, yung increase in the settlement is not proportionate, okay, to the increase in the load. Okay, kasi dito kasi static load test to. So this is linear, okay? And to test the load, a minimum load applied during the test will be equal to 1.5 times the working load. So it is important to identify the working load of the pile into consideration. Okay. So yan yung static load test. Okay. So we have pile driving formulas from engineering news records. So hindi to formula na na based on theory. So yung formula na to is based on actual talaga. Okay, so itong formula na to from the engineering news record. Okay. So it solve the capacity of piles, okay, of a driven piles, okay, for drop hammers, okay, mga displacement piles, okay, na ginamitan ng drop hammers, yung mga driven pile na ginamitan ng drop hammers. Dito muna tayo sa metric, okay. Yung formula is the capacity R, or the safe working pile capacity R, is equivalent to 50 WH over 3 S plus 25 at 2.54. Okay? So yan yung formula for drop hammers. Okay? So kung maaalala mo class, ano ba ang general formula kasi talaga nito is 50E over 3S plus C. Okay, whereas your E is the driving energy in the machine, yung driving energy ng machine, and yung S is the average penetration of the last number of blows, and yung C na small letter C is yung parang limit ng penetration. Okay, yung S again is the average penetration of the last number of blows. Okay, yung at last blow, ito yung average penetration. And yung C is yung limit ng penetration. Okay? So, please remember na lang yung for a drop hammer, okay, ito ay, ang limit nito is 1 inch. For single acting steam hammer, ang limit nito is 0.1 inch. And for double acting steam hammer, ang limit nito is 0.1 inch. Okay? So yan yung mga limit nila. So depende siya kung ano yung machine na ginamit. So drop hammer, single acting steam hammer, and double acting steam hammer. Okay. So what is the driving energy? So for driving energy, okay, kung naalala nyo yung formula for yung potential energy natin, basically, di ba, that is mgh, di ba? Whereas your m and g is m times g is the force, okay? Mass, m is in mass, so that is kilogram. G is in 9.81 meters per 9.81 meter per second squared. Okay. So kapag minultiply mo yung m and g, that is weight, di ba? So the potential energy is equivalent to mgh. Therefore, yung mg is equivalent to wh. Okay? And therefore, ito yung energy natin. Ito yung driving energy natin. So yung W is the hammer weight and H is the height of drop of the hammer. So ibig sabihin, ito yung inyong hammer, okay? And ito yung height nung drop niya. Ito yung height nung drop niya. And ito yung total driving energy. Okay. So the formula is ganito for the metric units. Okay. So 50E over 3 plus SE, 50 WH for the drop hammer, S plus 2.54. Dito naman is 50 WH 3 times S plus 0.254. And itong isa, for the double acting steam hammer, that is W 50 W plus PA times H over 3 times S plus 0.254. And ito naman yung PA is the additional driving force at top of the ram driver. Itong PA na to. Okay. Yung kasi sa double acting steam hammer, meron siyang additional driving force. Meron kasing ram driver. Okay? If you know yung ram driver. Addition to yung drop, okay, yung pag-drop ng hammer mo, meron din siyang another action force, kaya siya tinawag na double acting steam hammer. So dalawa yung nag-act, yung mas efficient yung force dito kasi yung isa may additional driving force ito. Okay. So yung English units, ang unit nito is in pounds. Okay. And yung metric unit, ang unit nito is in kilogram. And itong isa naman is in kilonewton. Okay. So ito ang H dito is naka-feet, dito naman naka-meters, dito naka-meters. Then yung steam pressure P natin, yung PA natin dito, okay, yung dito, okay, is in pounds, dito naman is in kilogram, dito is in kilonewton. For steam pressure P, okay, dito is in PSI, dito is kilogram per cm squared, and dito is kPa. And for area in the cross section, dito is square inches, dito is square centimeters, and dito is square meters. Okay, so don't worry, you can use na lang kung ano yung lagay nyo lang yung unit dito sa equation and determine nyo lang saan yung magka-cancel out. Malalaman nyo yung final final unit natin, kung ano yung unit ng capacity. Okay, so again, the formula for the general formula is R equals 2E over S plus C for English. For metric, that is 50E over 3S plus C. And for SI, that is 500E over 3 times S plus C. Okay. So next natin is yung pile driving formulas based on research. Okay, so based on research. Ito, based on also in research, but it was published by the Engineering News Record. Okay. Dito naman yung another pile driving formula. So we have the modified Engineering News formulas. Okay. Next is the Michigan State Highway Commission formula. Okay, next is the Danish formula from Olson and Fleet in 1967. And yung isa is the Pacific Coast Uniform Building Code formula or the International Conference of Building Officials in 1982. Okay, so basically straightforward lang to equation. So kailangan mo lang hanapin yung mga values. Okay, so start muna tayo dito sa modified EN formula. Ayan. So dito, yung Q sub U is equivalent siya sa E times W sub R, H over S plus C, WR plus N squared WP over WR plus WP. Okay. So mapapansin mo yung ito, okay, EWRH over S plus C is basically yung general equation dun sa dito, okay, sa original. Okay. So yung E dito this time, ang ibig sabihin nito ay efficiency efficiency of hammer. Okay. So dito siguro ang efficiency niya is yung 50 over 3. Okay. So hindi pala, sorry. So yan yung efficiency dito sa nag-introduce lang dito sa modified EN formula ng efficiency E. Okay? So mapapansin mo, the same na siya, WH over S plus C or yung driving force divided by S plus C. Okay? Then this time, nag-introduce siya ng weight of pile. Okay? And okay, weight of pile and WR is yung sorry, should be tingnan lang natin. Okay. Hindi nakasulat. Okay. WR is the weight of RAM. Okay. Ulit. WP is the weight of pile and WR is the weight of uh, RAM. Okay? So nag-introduce lang siya ng constant na ng ratio ng WR plus N squared WP over WR plus WP. Whereas your WR is the weight of RAM, your WP is the weight of pile. Okay? So included dapat dito yung weight of pile cup if given. Okay? Kung given sa inyo yung weight of pile cup, so you should include your weight of pile cup sa WP. Okay, yung N is the coefficient of restitution between the RAM and the pile cap. Okay, so basically ito yung parang coefficient of friction sa RAM and the pile cap. Okay, so what are the typical values of E or the efficiency of hammer? For a single and double acting hammers, we have 0.7 to 0.85. For a diesel hammers, we have 0.8 to 0.9 or 80 to 90%. For a drop hammer, we have 70 to 90% or 0.7 to 0.9. And the typical values for N or for the coefficient of restitution between the RAM and the pile cap. Okay, for a cast iron hammer and concrete piles without a cap, okay, without pile cap, is 0.4 to 0.5. So yung wooden cushion on steel piles, wood cushion in steel piles, we have 0.3 to 0.4. And yung wooden piles, that is 0.25 to 0.3. Okay. So kung nagtatanong kayo what is pile cap, okay, ano ba yung pile cap na yan? Yung pile cap na yan, ito yung kasama nung inyong piles. Okay? Sila yung para siyang isolated din. Ang itsura kasi nito, para siyang isolated footing din. Okay? Meron lang siyang piles sa ilalim. Yan, may piles lang yan sa ilalim. Okay. So, ganyan yung drawing. Okay. So ito yung pile cap natin. Yan yung pile cap natin. And sa ilalim niya is yung piles, embedded yung piles. Okay. So yan yung pile cap. Okay. Then for a Michigan State Highway Commission formula, so basically the same pa rin naman to eh. We have yung equation WR plus N squared WP, WR WP. Ang nagbago lang is yung HE. Meron kang HE. Okay. Take note pala, yung S is the same. That is yung average penetration. And yung C is yung limit. Okay. Dito pala, sa modified, yung C natin is 0.1 inches. Okay. So ito naka-English unit kasi ito lahat. So dito sa Michigan State Highway, yung HE natin is manufacturer's maximum rated hammer energy. So given na yan dun sa manufacturer kung ano yung value. Okay. Yung E is the efficiency of hammer, C is 0.1 inch, and the factor of safety is 6. That is recommended. Okay. For Danish formula, okay, or the Olson and late 1967, the only thing na hindi nyo alam dito or hindi natin alam is yung rated hammer energy ulit, yung HE. Okay. Yung E sub P or the modulus of elasticity of the pile material. Okay. Okay. And yung A sub P is the cross-sectional area of the pile. Okay. So for the Pacific Coast Uniform Building Code, okay, yung only the value of N should be 0.25 for steel piles and 0.1 for all other pipes or other piles. And a factor of safety is 4 is generally recommended. Okay. All these formulas are the same. So, the same dito sa Danish formula. Ang problema lang, papansin mo, may Q sub U dito and may Q sub U din dito. Okay? So, kailangan mong mag shift solve. Okay? Kailangan mong mag shift solve dito or find the value of Q sub U. Okay. For the Jacob's formula or the John Boo's formula. Okay, so this one. Okay, so we have the ratio of EHE K prime of U times S, or the average penetration. Okay, yung K prime of U is a factor given by this equation. Okay, and yung lambda prime is given by this equation. Okay, so again, lahat ito is given na. Okay, and this one is yung weight of piles and weight of RAM. Okay, and use this K prime of U. Okay, yung E dito is the same dito all throughout. Ito yung efficiency of your hammer. Okay, yung E dito is the efficiency of hammer. Okay, so next natin is yung Gates formula. Okay, so basically E and EHE alam na natin. Okay, so what is A and B? Okay, yung A and B. So if your QU is in kips, then your S is in inches. Yung average penetration mo is in inches. And your A is equals to 27 and your B is equals to 1. And HE mo dapat naka-keep foot. Pero yung if QU mo is in kilonewton, then your S is in millimeters, your A is equals to 104.5 and your B is equals to 2.4 and your HE is in kilonewton meter. Okay. For E, okay, for the efficiency, 0.75 for a drop hammer and 0.85 for all other hammers. Ito yung gamit nilang efficiency, and using a factor of safety of 3 is recommended. And last equation, we have this one, yung EHE over S1 plus 0.3 WP over WR using a factor of safety of 6. So ito yung Navy Mackey formula. Okay. So kadami-dami ng formula. Sige, so maybe we'll try natin yung formula for example problems. Okay, so number 1, first example natin. Okay, so we have a precast concrete pile that is 12 inches by 12 inches. The cross section is driven by a hammer. So given a maximum rated hammer energy, that is 30 kips foot, the hammer efficiency, that is 0.8, the weight of the ram, that is 7.5 kips, pile length, which is 80 feet, the coefficient of restitution, that is 0.4, the weight of pile cap to be 550 pounds, your E sub P is 3 times 10 raised to 6 kips inch squared, or the modulus of elasticity of the pile material, and the number of blows for last 1 inch of penetration is 8. Okay, so tingnan natin. So estimate the allowable capacity or allowable pile capacity by the following equation using a factor of safety given. Okay, so modified EN formula tayo muna using a factor of safety of 6. Okay, so for part A of our equation, the formula for modified EN is given by this equation. Yan, ganito yung equation natin. Okay, so again, yung weight of W sub P is weight of the pile cup, okay, plus the weight of pile. Okay, so kung mapapansin mo dito, yung weight of pile cup is 550 pounds, then yung weight, then yung pile is hindi pa nakasama. Okay, meron pang piles dito. So, ang gagawin mo, i-add mo yung weight of pile plus the weight of pile cap. Okay? So, dun sa weight of pile, okay, okay, wala dito, hindi nakasama. So, just a reminder lang, ito yung unit weight ng concrete in pound per feet cube. Okay? So, yan yung unit weight of concrete in pile feet cube. Okay. So, 12 by 12, so that is in inches. Okay. Multiplied by 80. So, yan yung total volume. Okay. So, 12 times 12 times 80, yan yung total volume. Okay. and divide it into convert your 12 inches to 1 foot, that is 12 over 12, and convert your other dimension to 1 foot, or it's 2 foot, okay, 2 feet, so that is 12 over 12, okay, and the pile length is in feet, so 80 feet, so this is in cubic foot, okay, so ito yung total volume ng pile, ng one pile. Okay. Multiplied mo siya sa unit weight of concrete plus 550. Therefore, you have 12,550 pounds. And that is equivalent to 12.55 kips. Yan yung weight of pile cup mo. Then, for your WRH, okay. So, again, what is the meaning of WRH? Okay. Ito yung WRH, yan yung maximum rated hammer energy, or yung naalala mo, yan yung driving force, driving energy, okay, or yan dito, driving energy. So that is equivalent to W times H, yan yung maximum potential energy. Okay, so therefore kompleto na yung ating equation. Okay, your Q sub U is equivalent to 0.8. Yan yung hammer efficiency. Okay. And W, that is 30 kips foot. Convert it all in inches para the same tayo lahat. So times mo siya sa 12. Okay. Divide it by S plus C. Yung S natin, okay, yung S natin is okay, that is 1/8. Okay, so S natin is 1/8, okay, because we have a 1 inch of penetration, okay, in 8 blows. Okay, so average niya therefore is, okay, ano yung average niya? Average na kung yung 8 na blows and nakakuha ka ng 1 inch. So therefore, yung average per blow is 1 inch, 1/8 inch per blow. So, for example, ito, yung total na nakuha niya after 8 blows is 1 inch. Okay? And divide it by the number of blows, which is 8. Therefore, ito siya. So, 1/8 inches per blow. Yan yung average niya. Okay? So, yan yung ilalagay nyo dito. 1/8. Then, plus yung C is yung limit natin. Okay, yung limit natin, if you remember doon sa modified EN, is 0.1 inches. You know, 0.1 inches. So, therefore, this is your 0.1 inches. Multiplied mo by WR, okay, 7.5. Okay, yung WR mo is the weight of the rum, plus 0.4 squared, 12.55 over 7.5, plus 12.55, that is 607 kips. So using a factor of safety of 6, divided by 6, therefore that is 101 kips. Okay, so that is using the modified EN formula. Okay, so for part B, determine natin yung capacity of piles based on the Danish formula. Okay, so given natin yung Danish formula na ganitong equation, that is Q sub U is equals to EHE over S plus square root of EHEL over 2AP E sub P. Okay, and E sub P is the modulus of elasticity of the pile material. Which is this one. So solve muna natin to equation na to. So that is the square root of the efficiency. Okay, yung efficiency ng hammer. Okay, yung HE natin, yung H sub E, okay, is yung rated hammer energy. Okay, convert lang natin siya sa kips inch din, kasi dito is naka kips foot. Convert mo na siya sa kips inch, so multiply it by 12. Okay, yung L natin, so that is in feet din. So 80 times 12 mo rin para maging inches. Okay. So 2 times 12 times 12. Yan yung area mo. And yung modulus of elasticity is 3 times 10 raised to 6 divided by 1,000 para maging kips. Okay. So 1,000 pounds equivalent to 1 kips. So, kaya siya may divided by 1,000. Okay. So therefore, you have 0.566 inches. Okay. So again, kailangan mo kasi dito is naka-KSI and all other values dapat naka-kips and inches. Okay, dito. All other values is dapat naka-kips and inches. Okay. So, it doesn't matter naman kung ano. So, ito lang yung ginawa natin. Basta lang consistent kayo sa unit. Okay. So, therefore, ito ay 0.566 inches. So, therefore, we can now solve yung ating pile capacity. So, 0.8 efficiency plus multiplied by the total maximum rated rate, okay, ng hammer mo. So that is 30 times 12. So that is in KS kips per inch. Ito yung kips inch. Okay, so the kip inch, 30 times 12. So divided by 1.8 plus 0.566. Therefore, you have your nominal or the safe working load. The working load, that is 417. And using a factor of safety of 4, so divided by 4, therefore you have 104 kips. Okay. So approximately 104 kips yung design capacity mo. Okay. And lastly, yung part C, which is the Gates formula using a factor of safety of 3. So sa Gates formula, the original equation is this one. Okay. Ayan. So, alam nyo na yung HE, alam nyo na yung S, hanapin na lang natin yung A and B. So, if we go back dun sa A and B, the value of A and B, okay. So, for the value of A and B, if your QU is in kips, then your S is in inches, your A is 27, and your B is 1. Okay, if your Q sub U is in kilonewton, your A is 104 and your B is 2.4. Okay, and your HA is kilonewton meters. Okay, and the efficiency of hammer, that is 0.75 for drop hammer and 0.85 for all other hammers. Okay, so ano pa yung ating hammer? Okay, hindi natin nakalagay dito. Okay. So ano yung ating hammer? So hindi siya naka-indicate kung hindi naka-indicate kung ano siya, kung drop hammer or iba. So we can use na lang yung other all other hammers. Okay. So we can use this value na 0.85. Okay. So yan yung pwede mong gamitin. Okay. And bakit ba? May efficiency ba na nilagay? Sorry. So meron palang efficiency na nilagay. So hammer efficiency, that is 0.8. So ito na yung gamitin nyo na value. Okay. So therefore, yung ating solution, so very straightforward lang. So yung A natin is 27 and yung B natin is 1. Okay? So ito siya, galing siya dito. Your A is 27 and your B is 1 kapag naka-kips. Yan yung gagamitin natin. Okay? So therefore, that is 27 square root of EHE 1 minus log of S. Okay? And your E is the efficiency, that is 0.8. Yung H sub E mo is the hammer potential energy, yung maximum rated force niya. That is 30 kip foot. Okay? Okay, then multiply it by 1 minus log of 1/8. Okay, therefore that is equivalent to 252 kips. Okay, so that is 252 kips, and divide it by 3, you have 84 kips. Okay, so ito yung design capacity niya, 84 kips. Okay, so if we compare all the all the formulas or yung all results natin using the different formulas. Okay, yung una, we have 607 kips. Okay, yung pangalawa, using yung the Danish formula, so yung modified EN, 607 yung nominal without the factor of safety. For the Danish, we have 417. And for the gates, we have 252. So hindi naman, parang hindi sila reliable since based on sa akin, parang hindi sila reliable kasi nga iba-iba yung values nila. So again, kung mapapansin mo, yung sa modified EN formula, ito yung yung pinaka gamit na gamit sa pile capacity ngayon. Okay, yung kahit saan, ito yung ginagamit yung modified EN formula. Okay. So ayan. So do you have any questions regarding this pile load testing?
Nakita mo na yung ano?
Okay. Sorry. So, eto. So, question is, kailangan ba kabisaduhin yung lahat ng formula? So, be familiarized lang dun sa equation. Okay, so, since madali lang naman to di ba? Madali lang naman siyang kabisaduhin since yung mga values and mga factors dito or basically makikita mo dito sa formula sheet na to. So, madali mahanap yung mga values. Okay, so be familiarized lang sa formulas and let's see kung ano yung ilalagay ko sa exam. Okay, so maybe I can allow you to open your open the formula sheets. So I don't recommend you to memorize this equation. So you can use this formula sheet para ma-check nyo yung mga formulas. Okay, so that's it for the capacity of piles. So if you have no more questions, we can leave this meeting and we don't have classes on Friday. Okay, we don't have meeting on Friday. Okay, so again, thank you class for listening.
Thank you po.